Have you ever considered using frustration to your advantage? Frustration, like any emotion, can be useful if you respond to it instead of reacting to it. It's so easy to let our emotions take control of us. We should be thinking of emotions as a thermometer rather than as a thermostat. A thermostat is used to tell furnaces and air conditioning units when to turn off and when to turn on. The thermostat has control. A thermometer, on the other hand, simply reports what is happening. This is what our emotions are doing. They simply report what's going on inside our mind and our lives. They tell us how we're feeling. But all too often, we take what we're feeling and we let those feelings control how we act. If we're angry, we might yell at someone. If we're enraged, we might do something even more extreme. But the anger is not supposed to control us. It simply says there's something that's not going our way at the moment, and we can respond in a positive way or in a negative way. In other words, we can respond to it thoughtfully instead of simply reacting to it. Frustration is no different. It tells us something is wrong in our lives, but instead of letting the frustration depress and drag us down, we need to respond to that feeling, to put it to good use. By the way, ignoring frustration is not the way to deal with it. Hiding or suppressing negative emotions is bad for our mental health, but left unchecked, it can harm us physically as well. Studies are coming out now that suggest that pent-up stress can contribute to diseases such as diabetes, cancer, multiple sclerosis, and a host of other diseases that are often assumed to have a physical cause. So how can frustration be useful? Think of it in the same way that you'd think of the pain of putting your hand on a stove burner. Sure doesn't feel good, does it? But that pain is sending an important message to your brain. Move me! Something's wrong here! Frustration is doing exactly the same thing. You wouldn't leave your hand on the stove and say to yourself, well, there's nothing I can do about the fact that the burner's hot, so I guess I'll do nothing. Don't make the same decision with your frustration. Move away from what's causing it. You need to identify exactly what's causing the frustration. Is it a person, a thing, an event? Something not going our way? Or are we frustrated by something we've done ourselves? Maybe we've done or said something wrong, made a big mistake that affects ourselves or others. There are any number of possible causes, so if the source isn't immediately obvious, take the time to figure out exactly what it is. It may not be as obvious as a hand on a hot burner, but you need to know what's causing it. Next, ask yourself what you can do about it. This is important. If there's nothing you can do about it, you have to stop letting it frustrate you and find another way to deal with it. Life is too short to live with frustrations beyond your control, so learn how to handle them. If it's something you can control, however, you need to decide what are you going to do about it. Do you need to change something about yourself, maybe your way of thinking? Do you need to change careers or jobs? Do you need to work at improving your relationships or ending them? Do you need to work at improving your finances? Another important thing to understand is that you cannot fix your frustration with others by changing them. They can't be changed. But if someone else is the source of your frustration, you need to sit down and talk about it with them. Do it calmly and rationally, making sure the other person understands where you're coming from and that you're seeking a solution. You aren't there to rant, rave, argue, or scold. You're honestly trying to work out a problem. And by the way, don't do this by email or text. Have an in-person meeting if it's at all possible. It's far too easy for words alone to be misunderstood. To really get a message across and receive it properly, we need eye contact. We need to hear the tone of the voice. We need to see the body language, and so on. In extreme situations, if it can't be worked out, you may have to find a way to cut that person out of your life or cut yourself out of theirs. Obviously, in a video like this, I can't cover every possible situation and solution, But by taking the time to think about the steps I've mentioned, you can begin to deal with that frustration. By doing that, you can greatly improve your quality of life. If you found these thoughts helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and consider sharing the video with someone that you think could find it helpful. If you'd like more personalized help, email me at the address in the description below so that we can set up a free, no-obligation coaching session to help you with an area of your life in which you'd like to see some growth and improvement. And remember, don't just seize the day, seize your life.